the rugged beauty of northern Ontario. This is where Pete McLeod was born, where he grew his wings, where he began his journey to become one of the top racing pilots in the world. Pete's father, Dave, is a bush pilot in Red Lake who used to take his young son flying on his knee. By the time Pete was 5, it was already clear he'd become a pilot too. He was criticizing his father for the way he made emergency landings.
We were coming in to one of the lakes and the engine quit on landing. The lake was really like the drifts, the snow drifts on it. Normally you'd come in and you'd see those drifts and then you'd take a new approach or something, but because the engine quit, it was a forced landing. My dad was just happy that everything was fine. They're now on the ground because he's got his son with him and everything. And I think I gave him crap about the bumpy landing. I was like, ribbing him that he bounced it, and he was like, yeah.
Flying was in Pete's genes. His grandfather was a bush pilot too. By the time he was a teenager, Pete was flying hunters and fishermen into remote northern bush camps all on his own.
It forces you to think, and if you don't think, you won't last in that environment, because you have to think and be smart and problem solve. And because of the bush flying, I'm not used to flying with somebody watching me on radar and having, talking in my ear, or having a co-pilot next to me to also think about decisions and monitor things.
Looking for more challenges, more thrills, at 16, Pete took up aerobatics.
My dad would coach me from the ground and stuff, so...
So what kind of stunts were you doing at 16?
Everything. Loops, rolls, spins, whatever. Everything you can imagine, and then a lot of things you can't imagine an airplane can do, but we make it happen. Growing up flying in Red Lake, it's one of the most famous bush flying areas in Canada and the world even. And I was 17 and 18 years old doing this, and there was a lot of people, sure, a lot of opinions, and he's too young for this, too young to be in that situation. And the only way you prove yourself right is just by performance and just doing it and showing that you have the head for it and the skill for it.
Pete McLeod has proven himself over and over. First his pilot's and bush pilot's license, then his stunt flying license, and later a coveted racing pilot's license. That led Pete to enter an international competition to find the top 15 racing pilots in the world. The top 15 would then go on a 6-city world racing circuit. Pete McLeod would be among them, the very first Canadian and the youngest pilot ever.
One other story that I have to tell you about. We're all buzzing about the rookies here. 4 brand new faces, 4 young names for the Red Bull Air Race World Championship.
Earlier this year, at just 25, Pete was in his first race at the very top of his sport. They fly at 370 kilometers an hour over a water race course marked with air-filled pylons. Speed, precision, and extraordinary gravitational pull.
Most of the corners are between about 8 and 11 Gs, which is like, 10 Gs, you're 10 times your body weight. So everything weighs 10 times as much. So your head, your body, and the blood in you. So of course you're fighting G-lock because your blood gets heavy and wants to pool down in your body, and the brain's at the top, so your brain needs blood to see and think.
Touching the gate.
After hitting a pylon, Pete came in 15th. Next came San Diego, where a sea of fans turned out to watch, and they got a glimpse of just how dangerous the sport can be.
Our replay from a gate earlier shows a bird strike. Hitting the tail of the plane, knocking a huge hole. The bird has really almost gone right through it.
I definitely know the risks that are out there for me. And I think that's an important part. You know, I spend a lot of time in the airshow world. I've had people I know killed doing the sport that I do. And in the bush flying world, though, I mean, out of Red Lake alone, there would be 5 or 6 accidents a year.
Again, Pete came in 15th.
The next stop of the Red Bull Air Race takes us to Canada and the city of Windsor.
Canada has a rich aviation background. To bring that to the world is really cool. Now to bring the race here to Canada and be here in my home country and on home soil is something special.
When Pete and the other pilots set up at the Windsor airport, they're treated like celebrities, and fans turned out to greet them.
How much is the plane worth?
You can get into one of these things probably for 400,000 or 500,000. So I've competed all over the world with competition aerobatics, which is
Like the airplane?
Always by his side, Pete's family has come to offer support. And surprisingly, although he'll be flying at 370 kilometers an hour, neither his grandfather or father are particularly concerned about his safety.
I worry more when he comes home at Christmas in a snowstorm, driving on the highway. You know, he's flying wonderful equipment. He's so well trained and he's so competent. He's got his head in the game all the time. And so, yeah, it's safer, I think, than driving on the 401 in a snowstorm. But we do that every day, and you don't think of it, really, you know.
So if you're Canadian, let them know about it. Your guy is just about to go flying over the Detroit River and try and whoop the man.
The race has drawn not just Pete's father and grandfather, but also his sister and other relatives and friends from all over Northern Ontario. As always, Pete's success is their success too.
Is that Pete now? He's got to go through this level. Yeah, good. Now he's got to go through this vertically. Good one. He's got to make a 270-degree turn now.
Yeah.
It's a hard gate. He's making a big turn. That's not good. Good gate. He was nice and level. He's got to go through this one level. Good. Now this is the gate he got in trouble with last time. He's got to go around this gate right here. Right here. He got in trouble. I got it.
Yeah, Pete McLeod is kicking some ass right now.
A good run, his very best. Pete has now moved into 11th place.
This is what I want to be. I want to be Pete, that's for sure. Flying. Pete's a role model for pilots like me and him. This is what we want to do. Get our aerobatics license, get up in the air, start flying Red Bull.
The guys down by the river saying, you know, we want to be like Pete McLeod. You seem to have become a bit of a role model.
You know, I think it's cool. I love what I do. I'm really passionate about it. So when people love it and they're passionate about maybe the flying, but also like the bigger thing is like if I could show people that they can do whatever they want, whether it's like sport or, you know, business or whatever, and not have to wait until they're 45 to do it or whatever, then that means a lot to me because that's the kind of outlook that I took on life, and I'm having a ton of fun. So, and you know, and going fast at the same time.
Just because you live in a small town in a northern community doesn't mean you can't achieve at the world level. And so his accomplishment has done a lot of things, I think, as role models for a lot of others. He gets constant emails from the younger crowd from around the world asking him, you know, how do you do what you're doing and how did you get to be where you are? And so I've noticed Pete takes time to tell them some of those things that, you know, believe in something, chase your dream. And that's important for us as a family.
Pete's dream now is to be champion within 5 years. And given what he's already achieved, he'll likely do it. As for what comes after that, well, it would seem the sky's the limit. Joan Leishman, CBC News, Windsor, Ontario.
Thank you.